place. We mourn the loss of this man who loved his family and enjoyed his friends. We will miss the sound of his voice and his presence among us. He served his country by serving in the army, and later became a brickmason to provide means of supporting his family. It was a hard life, but I never heard him once complain about the hardships that he went through. No, he always seemed to have a positive attitude about life. He outlived numerous loved ones, but the one he missed the most was his wife, Carol. I do not believe he ever recovered from that loss. It was through meeting him prior to the loss of his wife that I got a chance to know him. One thing I will never forget about him is he always greeted my wife and myself with a smile and kindness. It was through these visits that I knew, in spite of all that had happened to him, he still loved the Lord and hoped to meet him one day. He also leaned upon the hope of knowing that he would be reunited with his wife, old friends, and family members who had gone before him. So I was humbled when he asked if I would say a few words for him when he died. It is a privilege to be able to fulfill his last request. I personally did not have the words to provide Shirley the farewell he deserved. So I turned to the scriptures to find passages that reminded me of the last days of Shirley's life and gave me comfort as I read them. Since Shirley had grown to know the Lord, he knew that the Lord knew him better than he knew himself. In fact, the Lord knew him before he was formed in his mother's womb and before he was born, and that comes from Jeremiah 5. God knew him so well that he had numbered every hair on his head. Each time he lost one, God knew it. That comes from Matthew 10:30. This is a sign of how much God loves us, because he knows the same thing about each one of us. I have no doubt that he also believed the words in Matthew 10:28 when Jesus told us not to fear the one that can kill us, because he cannot kill the soul, an indication to us that our physical body may die, but our soul lives on. This is what Shirley understood. He also knew that God had sent his Son so that those who believed in him would not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16. And I really believe this as well. If I had any doubts about his belief, they were removed the day we gave Shirley his last communion. As I watched him that day, my wife recited Psalms 23 to him. I could see him relax as he listened to these words. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me on the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Your rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Then we sang Amazing Grace and ended the visit with the Lord's Prayer. You could see the peace in him as we bid farewell. And we knew that this was probably his last communion. He was ready, but the concern for his family and human desires made his body resist, letting him to go on for a few more days. He is now with the Lord. He is in a better place described in Revelations 21:10, where God will wipe every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. It is okay to grieve his passing, but remember this, that from where he is now, he would not want to come back to this world. For it was people he loved